Namaste. So last time we started to go through Narada's answer to Haritayana, the author of this Devi Māhātmya. And this answer exemplifies the view, the Vada of Ajata. Ajata-Vāda means the world is unborn. The four darshanams are calculated according to one's view of the world. So for one to whom the world seems real, they're in Dvaita, or duality. There's I and then the world. Then in Viśiṣṭādvaita-vāda, one sees the world as conditionally existing. Actual reality is non-duality, but you haven't realized it yet. And then in Vivarta-vāda, one begins the sadhana to attain self-realization. And that sadhana includes this path of Sri Vidya. In fact, the Sri Vidya is its conclusion. So then finally, when one gets the result, he's in the Ajata-vāda, the view that the universe and all phenomena are unborn. They don't really exist. And they're only an appearance in Brahman. So Narada continues his reply. By innumerable testimonies, your body is found to be 7 feet long. Within that, where are you, the seer, standing? Do you see inside from your external sensory organs or by your internal existence? You cannot see what is within the stomach by external senses. If you say that your internal being has seen, then, O friend, listen. You should have close connection with your Atma. The Atma is the self with a capital S. That which we really are. So if one has a close connection with one's Atma, he comes to know the nature of Atma, and that is unbounded. There's no differentiation between inside and outside, within and without, this body and another body, this mind and another mind. Non-duality means there's no differences. So that's the whole point of Ajata-vāda. Narada is beyond all that. He's seeing from that non-dual point of view that nothing ever really changes. I am, I exist. That's called Shivam, the state of pure being and pure awareness without an object. Then, what happens in the beginning of duality, there's a desire to create. Where does that desire come from? The whole thing is Maya. The whole thing is illusion. It's just an appearance within Brahman. The appearance of duality when there is actually not duality ever. It's hard to understand. It's paradoxical. So the intellect balks at it. It doesn't follow our dualistic logic. This has to be within that, right? There has to be an inside and an outside, a right and a left, an up and a down, right? No. In non-duality, these distinctions are moot because there is only one existence. That is the self, Shiva. So from the point of view of Shivoham, I am Shiva, then one's consciousness is the Devi, the goddess, Tripura. And this consciousness then goes through changes, because that's what it does. Anything with duality, anything that has an object, will go through changes. So I love the Chinese view on this. If you've ever read the I Ching or Yi King, This book describes reality in terms of hexagrams. A hexagram is a figure with 6 lines. And each line represents a stage in the process of becoming, as taught by the Buddha. So the stages are conception, gestation, birth, production of byproducts, dwindling, and death. So they say in the I Ching, all things go through 6 changes, and the 7th brings return. So that's why the 7th change is outside the hexagram, because that's at death and then rebirth. So these 6 stages of change are present in every phenomenon, everything that exists, including consciousness itself. Consciousness is a phenomenon because it's viewed as different from the watcher, the seer. Narada makes references to that. So where is the seer residing in your body? Can you tell? Can you say? Most people will say here, but no. Because what happens if you stub your toe? Suddenly the seer is in your toe, right? Ow! Ooh, ah! Or what happens, here's a very interesting thing. In the Bhairav Vigyan Tantra, one of the methods given for quickly realizing the self, the state of non-dual consciousness, egolessness, is to look at something far away. Everybody likes to go to a viewpoint, a vista point, and see some great landscape, some beautiful mountains or some gorgeous sunset or something like that, and look far away. Why is this so pleasurable? Why is this so nice? Because in the interval between first seeing the view and then registering it, identifying it, oh, these are mountains and these are valleys and this is the sun and so on. In that interval, in that gap, there is pure consciousness. Pure awareness, without assigning any labels. And so this is very beautiful, very pleasant. If you are getting moments of this kind of consciousness in your everyday life, that means your sadhana is on track. You're doing it right. But if you're always in some kind of analytical state where this is this and this is that, and then you're doing logic with labels and no. Keep going. So Narada here is saying, this is the view from Ajata. Okay? You have already made immense progress on the path. But you still have to be able to conceptualize this non-dual view if you are to attain spiritual maturity and complete your mission to write this Tripura Rahasya. Because this was given, we'll find out, this was given by Lord Brahma himself. He desired this history, this Māhātmya, and the further sections on Kriya and Jnana, to be written to benefit the whole universe, for the well-being of every being in the world. So he picked Haritayana for this task. This was all decided a long time ago. And when Haritayana took birth in this life that we're reading about now, everything was arranged so that he would get the training he needed from the beginning of his life and attain spiritual maturity very quickly so he could complete this major work in a very short time. Actually, any great creative work is done in a hurry. It's done fast, in the flow, without missing a beat. Getting all the changes right. Because the flow of inspiration remains unbroken. And the focus also remains unbroken. See, I'm thinking faster than I can speak here. So, the great artists like Michelangelo, they would do like incredible feats of endurance because they didn't want to break their focus. Rodin, the great sculptor, he used to stay up for 2 or 3 days at a time working on a sculpture and only sleep when he practically fell down. He'd sleep on the floor of his studio and then get up and get back to work. Because to create any great work, the vision of the whole thing has to remain in your mind. That's why, for example, software programmers hate interruptions. They hate meetings, phone calls, emails, all the crazy little interruptions that we get in the course of a day today. Why? Because it interrupts their flow. It breaks their concentration. They have to load a very complex vision of a problem and its solution into their minds and hold that until they can actually do the work. So it's the same thing with like making these videos. If somebody was to knock on the door right now, that would disturb the whole thing and I'd have to start all over again. Any great creative task is like that. So Narada is saying, you have to reach spiritual maturity to where you see that you are not this body. You are the seer, and the seer is boundless, existing in a great space. That vast space cannot be fit into the body. Your body's only 7 feet long at the max. So where's the room for the great space that, for example, you see around me? He's saying, I exist and I am conscious of everything, not only the material creation, but beyond that too. In fact, from his point of view, the material creation is almost trivial. And so he can see, he can grasp the whole thing in one view. This is Ajata. It's called Sarvajñā, that one knows everything, past, present, future, here and there. Distance, time are no barriers. In fact, for someone on that platform, there's no barriers at all. So this is complete self-realization, Ajata-vāda. And someone like Narada, who has realized everything, you know, he simply plays with reality. He plays with phenomena. To him, it's all like a dream. And you can simply, you know, change things around and make stuff happen. And he does that. He does it all the time. If you read the Vedic literature, you'll find that that's Narada's role. He adjusts situations to produce certain outcomes that are beneficial for the universe. Now let's see, is there anything else? You cannot see what's in the stomach by external senses. In fact, we cannot even understand what's going on in our stomach. The process of digestion is a great mystery. Nobody really knows how it works. Somehow or other, this food that we take in is transformed into energy. And there are so many mysteries that are opaque to our senses. So we have to attain complete self-realization. That is the key to all mysteries and the cure for all problems. Om Tat Sat. Aum Harihi Aum.